sometimes we want to make changes in our life. These may be changes of so-called self-improvement, or changes to get us towards our goals and dreams. But deep down we don't really want to make these changes because we're not ready to give up the comfort and relief that our old habits or our old behaviors gave us. It gets our mind off of things. We don't want to give it up, even though we know that it will hurt us more in the long run. We have these two voices in our head. One tells us do the right thing, and the other one tells us to do anything else but the right thing. It tells us to run away, it tells us to run back, to cower in the corner, it tells us to distract ourselves because we can't handle the discomfort, we can't handle the pain, we can't handle the stress or the overwhelm. So we dig our heels in the ground. We create a conflict in our minds. By the way, which isn't bad. The conflict in our minds is exertion of willpower over ourselves. But it creates a conflict in our mind that leaves a bitter taste on our tongues. The bitter taste of change. That bitter taste of change is how you know that you're exerting your willpower over your cravings. I understand change can be extremely, extremely difficult sometimes. We may want to chase some elusive good to dig our heels into the ground from making the change. And we end up screwing ourselves over in the long run. Even if we are motivated or driven towards making these changes, we want to make these changes, we struggle to do so. Have an understanding that you aren't exactly your cravings. You aren't your mind either. What you are is just the one that experiences your experiences. You want your experiences, you're not your cravings. You got to create some more distance between you and your mind, because your cravings will just come and go. That way you can more clearly just see a craving as I am now craving something. You can wait it out, and it will pass on its own. It's difficult because the craving fulfills usually an emotional need that we have. If we don't have better ways of handling these emotions, we might want to give in. It might sound a bit old school, but to simply just grit your teeth through it for a minute or two and it will go away on its own. I have been addiction-free for 7 months now. I've had 5 of them. I've probably been an addict since I was 7 years old. 7 months is the longest I've ever gone without any addictions. Now, I'm pretty proud of myself. Now, I'm a bit camera shy, so it doesn't really come across exactly, but I'm proud of myself for having achieved that. And the way I did that was through practicing awareness of what my mind is doing, so I can create some distance between what I will choose to do, my actions, and simply just a craving. If you have a craving and you're not really noticing that it's simply just a craving, it will have significantly stronger force to pull you into it. Because you're not really noticing, my mind is just having a craving right now for such and such a reason. Maybe it's because I'm feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed or lonely or simply just bored. Throughout the time I was battling the different ones, all but damn 5 of them, I had the bitter taste of change on my tongue the entire way through. Enjoy that taste afterwards, because once the craving passes and the taste is gone, you should reward yourself with a mental pat on your back, because I felt good about myself afterwards for having done something that's difficult for me. If you're struggling with cravings, it's going to be a bit difficult, but just push through for a minute more. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Trust me. I made it to the end. It's pretty great from this side. If you haven't made it here, it's not necessarily that you're not trying enough. It could also be that you haven't diagnosed your problem properly. A lot of people, they might say, my problem is social media, or my problem is food. It's a wrong diagnosis of the problem. The problem isn't that you're opening up Instagram. The problem is how you're handling internal signals. If you look at a task, for example, for me, if I had to do something like apply for a single job, go on Indeed.com, type in 6 letters, INDEED, press enter on my keyboard. I couldn't do that for 3 days. That's just an example. The problem is that you see a task. Well, I'm going to get into this in a future video, but you are overwhelmed by it, or stressed out by it, or you suddenly get really fatigued all of a sudden. These emotional stimuli in your mind will then trigger that addiction. Your inability to recognize the emotion that you're feeling and have another way of dealing with it. That's the problem. Now, I don't have much to say in this video because, if I'm being honest, in my opinion, the process of change is pretty simple. It's just a bit difficult sometimes because we're unable to handle ourselves. We're able to handle what our mind does to us sometimes. We are pulled in too much by what the mind does. Unlike you, the mind is not a constant. It fluctuates. Let's eat healthy. Let's eat unhealthy. 5 minutes later. That's just one example. It does this all throughout the day. Trust your mind less. Be more aware of what your mind is doing. Be more aware of your emotions. Be more aware of what your emotions make you feel like doing. And if you can, push through. If you do push through, rejoice. As Nietzsche says, rejoice in the undergoing and the overgoing. I apologize if my speaking isn't too good. I need more practice. I'm better at writing than I am at speaking. I hope to improve it. That's the change I want to make. Good things come to those that act. The change might even be our appearance on camera. I just woke up, don't mind me.